Hey, all my comic book fans out there, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. That's right, guys. And this is the debut episode of celebrating 50 years of Spider-Man, which I think I'm going to shorten the title now and just call it 50 Years of Spider-Man. And let's just learn to appreciate Spider-Man for who he is and what he has in the past. And today, I wanted to talk about a particular issue, but first I wanted to recap on last time's episode where we talked about Spider-Man's favorite costume and or what were your guys' favorite costumes, and I got all kinds of answers. One in particular that I totally forgot about was the Iron Spider costume. And I remember when that came out, like pre-Civil War, or was it for Civil War? And I remember seeing that costume, and I'm like, you know what? This is a pretty badass costume. And I remember I truly enjoyed it. It was just something completely original. I don't know if it was everyone's favorite costume or not, but that costume was pretty badass in my eyes. My personal favorite besides that is the black costume, and I think that's pretty much everyone's favorite costume for the most part, because that was that first really different costume for Spider-Man. So yeah, thank you for you guys' feedback on that particular question. And today we are going to talk about a particular issue that I recently got in my local comic book shop that I did not have, and this was an annual from the Amazing Spider-Man, and this is annual number 28. This has this title is called Carnage is Back, and Spidey is the only one that has to battle him. So, what does this issue have to offer in the Amazing Spider-Man universe? Well, this book was written in 1994, so this was going back already 19 years ago. Our writer was David Michelin at the time, and our penciler for this particular issue was Stephen Butler, and our inker was Bud LaRosa, and this seemed to be the start of the downfall, really, when it comes to comics for Marvel in the 90s. When I look at the particular plot of this book, I was like, wow, this is kind of weak. Reading it now, maybe back when I was I think at the time I was 19 when this book came out, I was like, all right, I was probably like, oh, this is cool, Carnage is badass. But reading it now, really, the plot was really, really weak. The pencils in this book and the artwork was good. Here you have Cletus Cassidy. He was basically, I guess, put in prison, what you want to call, where he can't move, he can't draw any blood to bring out his symbiote host or whatnot. And he was really in rough shape. He was being captured. You get guards, sitting here watching over his every move. He's on this big rig, and I think he was going to one of the prisons. I wasn't sure which one it was, but he breaks free after this professor is just basically hounding him, and he bites his lip, and Carnage is free, and he breaks through glass. Like, dude, Carnage is back. That's freaking awesome, And this is a typical 90s book. All it was just like Carnage killing people and destroying guards, and here comes Spider-Man with a big-ass gun. How many of these big-ass guns did you see in the 90s right here? It was just hysterical to see. But you get to see like the really full effect of Venom in this particular issue with his costume. He comes up with these battle axes. He wraps around his symbiote suit with around these guards here, and it's just crazy stuff. But the main part of the issue was really Cassidy going to his buddy's house that was in camp, and his name was Bill. And Bill's running away, and he's got to go because he's got divorce problems, he's got gambling problems, and Carnage basically wanted to have fun with him. And Spider-Man tracks him down, and we go into this little backstory of Cletus, when he was a kid, and he was still good at heart, and nothing really spectacular, but again, Spider-Man finds him. We get more badass action. Hey, who cares about the story when all we get is fighting, right? So here we go. We have Spider-Man fighting, and more fighting. Carnage is going just shooting out his his little symbiote spikes, and in the end it was such a cheesy thing because Bill sits there and goes, I know there's good in you, Cletus, and if you can't beat me without that symbiote, then you're weak, Cletus is like, okay, I'll just go back to my human form here, and you see he goes back to his human form, and the next thing you see, he's distracted, and Spider-Man knocks him out, and that's it. We go back to the prison where we're in the, what the heck is this prison called? I don't even know. Some hours later in the prison for the vault, that's where it was. So he gets put in prison, which is the vault, with these high heat cell blocks or whatnot, so he can't escape, and Carnage is like, I'll have the perfect unpredictable moment for me to escape. He's like, all crazy. And then you see that dude resign, and that Bill guy resigned his job, and he wants to get help, and he goes to Gamblers Anonymous because he gambled all his money away. Really weak plot, but it's an annual, it's for fun, people like to see that stuff. I mean, you can't beat it, really. I mean, when you look back, it's $2.95 for 64 pages back then. And then the rest of the book had to do with like Cloak and Dagger, if you guys are Cloak and Dagger fans. And then there was this Rhino story that was the last story in the actual book, and it was, I don't know, it was really cheesy, not really great artwork, but there it is right there. So wasn't a fan of those stories, but I liked the Amazing Spider-Man story. That one was okay, but overall, this book wasn't really the most spectacular book in the world, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Reliving the day of Spider-Man and Carnage. But here's a question for you guys. Tell me what your favorite Spider-Man and Carnage story was. There's a few of them out there. Was it the origin or the first appearance? Was it Maximum Carnage? Was it some other stories that Carnage was in? Was it maybe some recent stories that Carnage was in? All those mini-series. So give me your thoughts below. And guys, that's all I have for you today. So this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. And as always, guys, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. I'll see you real soon, guys. Take care. Bye.